The Philippines' most haunted places. Manila Film Center. Built in 1981 at the behest of former First Lady Imelda Marcos, the controversial Manila Film Center hosted the Manila International Film Festival in 1982. Although the film festival runs smoothly, the construction of the venue didn't. During the final stage of its construction in November 1981, tragedy struck. The scaffoldings of the upper floor of the structure collapsed. Workers, some 169, according to reports, fell and were buried in quick-drying wet cement. A blanket of security were imposed by the regime, and rescuers were only permitted to the site 9 hours after the collapse. Although the center is still being used today, stories have it that the restless spirits of those who died have haunted the place since then. Bahay na Pula, or Red House. Amid the vast green fields of San Ildefonso, Bulacan, lies the blood-red-hued Bahay na Pula, famous or infamous for its horrifying history. This once beautiful house served as a garrison for the Japanese army during World War II, and expectedly was a venue of a number of atrocities committed by the Japanese soldiers. According to accounts, the wailing of tortured women, men, and children can be heard in the property up to this day. Laperal White House. The white Victorian style of this house in Baguio, Benguet, is enough to give it an eerie vibe. But obviously, the story behind this otherwise magnificent property is what that makes it famous and well terrifying. Once belonging to the rich Laperal clan, accounts say that this house was an execution site for captured Filipino and American spies during World War II. According to the property caretakers, the noise of children playing can be heard around the house, as well as an apparition of a white-clad lady staring from one of the windows. This property is now owned by the Lucio Tan Group and has been converted into an exhibit showcasing Philippine bamboo carvings. Herrera Mansion, or Tiaong Stone House. Designed in the 1920s by famous architect Thomas Mapua, it is the oldest standing structure in the small town of Tiaong in Quezon Province and is also believed to be haunted. Locals share stories of headless soldiers, apparition of an elderly couple roaming around the property, the rattling doorknobs, and the faint sound of shackles being dragged. Villalon Mansion. Known also as the House on the Hill, this abandoned, eerie-looking pink mansion sits atop a hill in capital site in Cebu City. Tourists may miss this hidden gem, which was owned by the prominent Villalon family and was a venue for glitz parties in the 1950s and 60s. The original owners have moved on, they say, but strange occurrences remain in the house, including that of a white lady looking out from one of its windows and frightening sounds that can be heard from outside. Diplomat Hotel. Originally built in the 1910s as a retreat house for Dominican priests, this dilapidated structure sitting atop Dominican Hill in Baguio was the site of a number of gruesome killings during World War II. Converted and rebranded into Diplomat Hotel in the 1970s, the property later ceased operations when its owner died in 1987 and has since fell into disuse. Today, numerous accounts of apparitions of headless priests and the weeping sounds coming from the building have been reported. Malacañan Palace, the official residence of the President of the Philippines. Malacañan Palace is as historic as it is frightening. Originally built in 1750 as a summer house, the Spanish government bought the 16-hectare property as a temporary home for governors general when the summer heat in Intramuros became unbearable. Today, guests, residents, and employees report sightings of a capre, a giant tree demon in Filipino mythical tradition. At the entrance, apparitions of mysterious black entities, and even the ghost of President Manuel L. Quezon, its first Filipino resident. Clark Air Base Hospital. Featured in National Geographic, I wouldn't go in there. Clark Air Base Hospital was a modern healthcare facility during its heyday in the 1960s. But unfortunately, the property fell into disuse when the Americans left and after the massive eruption of Mount Pinatubo in 1991. These days, incidents of violent spirits throwing objects to uninvited guests to mysterious phantoms lurking around the corners are reported. Teachers' Camp. Established during the American era as a center for training and seminars for teachers and employees of the insular government, Teachers' Camp, formerly called Baguio Teachers' Camp, celebrated its 100th year in 2008 and has since been declared a National Heritage Site. Because of its age, the place is a site of a number of reported ghost sightings. Vacationers and holiday makers also report of hearing footsteps in the hallways and faint mumbles during midnight. Fort Santiago. Built as a defense fortress for the walled city of Intramuros, Fort Santiago is witness to a number of atrocities committed by the Japanese in the closing months of World War II. These days, sightings of restless spirits dressed as Guardia Civil roaming the grounds have been reported, as well as indistinctive murmurs. I pray these lingering lost souls will finally find their peace. These are the most haunted places in the Philippines.